That shot by Doug Lee 13 months ago opened the door on a truckload of heartache for Illinois against Purdue. 2 one-point overtime defeats last year. Then this season, in the Big Ten opener in Champaign, Purdue had an easy time, 81-68. Tonight, the Illini have a chance to bury their frustrations when once again, they challenge the Boilermakers. The following is an RCM Sports presentation. Fighting Illini basketball is brought to you in part by Counter. More performance, more consistency. Counter gives you more. By La Choy. From chow mein to egg rolls, it's America's favorite brand of Oriental food. By Bud Light, proud sponsor of the 1988 U.S. Olympic team. Everything else is just the weather. By the Illinois State Lottery. Have a ball. Play the lottery. And by State Farm Insurance. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hello once again, everybody. Dick Martin along with Dan Rowan at a noisy Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. It's Illinois and Purdue, and it's the 133rd time that they have met on a basketball court. And furthermore, Purdue comes into this ball game 5 wins in a row. Illinois comes in here 4 wins in a row. And we'd be remiss, Dan, if we didn't say right now that Lou Henson tonight shoots for number 500 collegiate coaching victory. But it's a big basketball game. And this arena, of course, is always noisy. Indiana was in here on Sunday. It's a tough game for the Boilermakers then, and I'm sure Illinois is going to bring to them a real task here tonight.
Well, I hope for their sake that they do, Dick. This is the first of a very important 4-game stretch for Illinois. They play the 4 teams that are above them in the conference standing. They haven't beaten any of those teams yet this season. They need to do it to improve their position with regard to the NCAA tournament. A win tonight would boost them way up and might even get them a top 16 seed.
Dan, what's Illinois going to have to do to win this ball game?
I think it's very simple. Illinois plays good defense. That's well known. What Illinois has got to do tonight is shoot the basketball. One, that will take away Purdue's transition game. When you don't rebound it and able to throw it out, you won't get as many fast break baskets. 2, it'll hurt Purdue's rebounding. If you make the shots, you're not going to get the board. So Illinois needs to shoot it from the field, and then when the game's close at the end, shoot it from the free throw line. That's been a problem.
Well, these teams have played some magnificent basketball games. Last year, you'll recall, both games ended in overtime. Purdue won both of them. They won earlier in January. Let's hope it's a turnaround here for the Illini tonight. We're going to be back after these started with the starting lineups after this on the Illini Sports Network.
25, Dick Anderson. For Purdue and forward, a 6'7" senior from Toledo, Ohio, number 33, Todd Mitchell. For Illinois, forward, a 6'5" senior from Aurora, Illinois, number 33, Ken Battle. For Purdue and forward, a 6'8" junior from Decatur, Indiana, number 30, Chip Jones. For the Illini center, a 7-foot junior from Taylorsville, Illinois, number 54, Yannis Kuyama. For the Boilermakers center, a 6'9" junior from Chicago, number 35, Melvin McCann. For the Illini guard, a 6'6" sophomore from Carbondale, Illinois, number 35, Steve Bardo. For the Boilermakers guard, a 6'3" senior from Evanston, Illinois, number 21, Everett Stevens. For the Illinois guard, a 6'4" senior from Highland Park, Michigan, number 21, Glenn Blackwell. And for Purdue guard, a 6'4" senior from Anderson, Indiana, number 23, Troy Lewis. The coach of the Illini is 13th season in Illinois is Lou Henderson. And the head coach of the Boilermakers in his 8th year at Purdue, Gene Brady.
Well, there you have the introduction to the cast, and we're going to be back with the opening tip-off after these local messages. And welcome back to Mackey Arena. 14,123 are jammed in here. Dick Martin along with Dan Rowan, and it ought to be a good one for you. Big Ten basketball. The Boilermakers 11-1 in conference play. The Illini sitting all by themselves in 4th place at 8-5. Todd Mitchell goes up against Kenny Battle. It's batted into the backcourt and retrieved by Steve Bardo of Illinois. So the Illini wearing their dark uniforms. That's Bardo working at the top of the key. Goes to Nick Anderson. Tries to drive down through the middle. Has it batted away. And out of there with it comes Purdue. Over in the far side, that's Troy Lewis. Goes to the corner. Underneath McCants. Slapped away. A foul on Battle.
Well, trouble right away defensively for Illinois. McCants got totally free from Jens Kuyava. Had a wide open layup if Battle had not come over there and committed that personal foul. So they have to tighten the screws on defense right away. Purdue is not a team that's easy to come back against. You don't want to get down early against these guys.
There you see Kenny Battle, and Melvin McCants goes to the line. He's only a 66% free throw shooter. He's going to get 2 shots. A 6'9" junior out of Mount Carmel High School in Chicago, and he makes good on the first one. Tom Rucker, one of the referees, handing him the basketball. Rims it out of there. Good rebound on the second man back, taken out of there by Purdue, and that's Troy Lewis to Stevens. Down to Mitchell in the corner. Outside Lewis. Mitchell off to the side. Underneath it goes. McCants has it deflected out of his hands, out of bounds. Knocked away by Jens Kuyava, and Purdue will get it right back.
I like the matchups, Dick, defensively, except for the one in the middle. I think the Illinois guards could match up pretty well defensively against the Purdue guard. And missed there under pressure, and now a foul push-off by Kip Jones. So
evens up the fouls at 1 apiece. That 3-point try was thrown up there by Troy Lewis, who has been a demon with 3-point baskets all year. His second leading 3-point shooter in the league. There's the officials for tonight's game. Tom Rucker, Sam Licklider, and Jerry Sauter. Jerry Sauter, a newcomer to the Big Ten Conference this year. And that is him handing the basketball over to Jens Kuyava. And a full court press being put on by the Boilers. Down to Nick Anderson, 2-on-1. And Battle tries to go for the slam and loses control of the basketball. So it's out of bounds to Purdue at the far end of the court.
Illinois is the #1 team in turnover percentage. Turnover margin, I guess I should say, a -4 per game. 4 better than the teams that they play, and already 2 quick ones.
Troy Lewis can't get it down, and the rebound pulled away by Kuyava. Gets it up to Bardo. Off to Anderson, and he drives for the basket, and they're going to get him for a charge.
It's off to a horrible start for Illinois. Very fortunate they're not down by more than 1 point. Here's the play. Bardo penetrated and did a good job there. Kicked it off to Anderson. Kind of a tough look there, but he commits the charge, and Purdue gets it right back. Another turnover. That's 3.
Todd Mitchell across to Lewis. The Illini trying to put a little pressure on, but it doesn't seem to be amounting to too much here in the early going. It's still 1-0 Purdue. Underneath for the alley-oop, and they almost threw it away, and it comes back out in front. Stevens saved it for the Boilers. Under to Kip Jones. His shot is no good. Batted around underneath, and it's finally pulled out by Jens Kuyava.
McCants got away with one. He really crashed the boards over the top, and no call.
Blackwell down underneath the Battle. He comes way outside, and McCants follows him out there. Goes underneath, and Jens Kuyava loses the ball. It's picked up by Blackwell and put in. Well, a good bounce of the ball that time for the Illini, and they lead it 2-1 with 18 minutes to go in the first half at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. This is Everett Stevens flipping down the right side to Mitchell. Underneath, oh, he threw it right over, and Kip Jones gets the shot and puts it in. Caught the Illini napping on defense, and a pressure is being put on, and a 2-on-1 for Illinois. Battle to Anderson. Nick pulls up from 10 feet, and he can't get it in there. Follows it up. Loses the ball on the floor, and is picked up by Purdue, and he's out of bounds.
Well, have you ever seen a game between 2 good, solid basketball teams start out as slowly as this one has?
That was Todd Mitchell that couldn't stay up on his feet. Rolled out of bounds underneath the Illini basket, and Blackwell inbounds it into the corner to Anderson. The crowd here thought he might have taken a step. Battle's turnaround shot is out of there, and a foul is going to be called. It's on Purdue.
I think Gene Cady and Lou Henson are both trying to figure out what's wrong with their teams.
McCants picked up his first. And Melvin McCants, incidentally, Dan, has been guilty. There you see the young man out of Mount Carmel High School in Chicago. He's been guilty of getting himself in foul trouble in the last couple of weeks.
What's helped Purdue is the fact that Steve Shuffler has really started to play well for them. He's come off the bench and stepped right in when McCants has gotten in trouble. And they don't really lose much. At least they haven't in the last few games with Shuffler on the floor.
Reading the biography of that young man, Steve Shuffler, he was an all-state tackle at Ada, Michigan. Free throw is missed there by Battle. Down Mitchell underneath. It's slammed around, and Nick Anderson comes out of there with a basketball. It's to Blackwell. Down to Kenny Battle. Battle starting to drive, and a foul on Jones. That's the second on Kip Jones, better known as Indiana Jones over this way.
Battle gave him a half step toward the lane on that drive. Here's another look. That little stutter kind of froze Jones, and he wasn't able to get down to the baseline in time to get in front of Kenny, so personal foul goes to Purdue.
There you see Steve Shuffler, 6'9", a sophomore. Blackwell from behind the screen, and he can't get it. Mitchell up court. This is Lewis. Three-point try. Air ball thrown up, and Blackwell comes storming out of there. Watch this one, folks. Well, he made it look easy. Nick Anderson has given Illinois a 5-3 advantage on Purdue. This arena is always noisy, and it's that way right now. Lewis to Stevens.
Caught up in the switch-off. Nobody picked up Everett Stevens. Nick Anderson just stood there and watched him shoot it. And Everett will knock that one down all night.
Bardo around a pick by Kuyava. Comes outside. Here's Blackwell trying to make a move to Nick Anderson. Great fake. But he can't get the shot in. McCants hauls down the rebound for Purdue. That's Roy Lewis. I feel that Nick Anderson really is tight as can be. Mitchell from the side. 8-5 Purdue.
5 quick ones by the Boilermakers, and Illinois is going to have to get a basket here.
Underneath to Anderson.
That's Battle.
This one is up by Bardo. No, gets it back, going for the shot. Kuyava gets this one up and in. And let's see if they're going to count it and what the whistle was all about. It appears it was on Bardo earlier.
Yeah, Bardo's shot. He was fouled on the shot before Kuyava put it up there. We get another look. Good work on the offensive boards by Illinois. Bardo going strong as he does, Dick, from that point guard position. One of the better rebounding guards, certainly in the Big Ten, maybe in the country. Got 2 of them up there and finally got fouled. What we talked about early on in the show, shooting has not really materialized for Illinois. They haven't shot well from the floor yet. Missed a couple of real easy ones, and they're 1 of 3 now from the line. Make it 2 out of 4 here.
And there's a break in the action at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana. With the score here, Purdue 8, Illinois 6. And we're going to return with more on the Illini Sports Network. West Lafayette, Indiana. Dick Martin along with Dan Rowan. We've got 15:53 you see there remaining. And that's what's happened in the field goal percentage-wise in the Illini. On the short end of it, 2 out of 7. Purdue, 3 out of 7. For the Boilermakers, this is Troy Jones. He comes down on the dribble, gives it back out in front. A couple of newcomers in there. That's Bill Reed out of the Quad City area of Illinois. Just a freshman. Into the corner it goes. Troy Lewis coming out. Gives it off to Reed.
Kind of an early appearance for Bill Reed. Doesn't usually play this much early in a game.
Melvin McCants forces the shot up, and he has got it in. And right up over the top of Jens Kuyava. Steve Bardo working around out in front. Tries to drive on Mitchell, and he bats the ball away. Gets it right back. Makes a move to the baseline. Tries to go for the shot. I think he thought there should have been a foul call, but the referee didn't say it that way, and there seemed to be a lull in the action as far as Illinois was concerned.
I think everyone thought the whistle had blown. I thought I heard a whistle.
I thought I did too. Mitchell underneath. Scheffler. Scheffler has notched his first field goal, and the Boilermakers lead it by 6. Bardo having problems out there with Todd Mitchell. Back now, Blackwell driving on Reed. pulls up underneath, and a foul is going to be called. It's on Reed of Purdue.
Well, they got it to the right man on the far wing. Billy Reed probably can't stay one-on-one with Glenn Blackwell. So Glenn tried to put a move on. Purdue came over to help and bumped Glenn. Bardo, you're right. Excuse me, Dick. Bardo's having all kinds of trouble with Todd Mitchell out front. I'm surprised that Mitchell's on Bardo. They match up well size-wise, though, and it's a good move by Gene Katie.
We were talking about the size of Todd Mitchell as we were watching him warm up, Dan. He has a good 6'8". Now Illinois has just thrown a bad pass inside, trying to get it in play, and the Boilers come out of there with it.
Well, the Illini are killing themselves with turnovers.
Troy Jones, alley-oop to Mitchell.
Lou Henson needs a timeout, Dick. And I'm not so sure just to regroup. I think he needs a timeout to slap these guys awake. Illinois is not playing any defense or offense. And they're on the verge of really getting wasted here early in the game.
Kuyava under to Lowell Hamilton, and a foul on Kip Jones. That's his third. And quickly off of the bench comes Melvin McCants back in for the Boilermakers, replacing Jones. Also, Troy Lewis is up. He'll come back in. Just a moment ago, this is what that alley-oop to perfection looked like.
Well, this is a play that Purdue has used for years and years, and it worked like a charm that time. Bardo completely lost Todd Mitchell as he went on the back door. Gotta stay with the guys back there. I mean, you know what's coming. And another steal. Tony Jones. The beat goes on, boy. Those guards are really quick. You got to look out all the time.
Lewis underneath McCants. And a foul on Kuyava. Phil Coons, you see, coming in there, replacing Kuyava.
Again, from a low camera angle, here's what happened on the baseline. McCants just spinning on Kuyava, and Jens laid the body on it. Not only that, Dick, but Illinois has got a strange lineup in the game right now. No Battle, no Anderson, and actually not much offense in the game at all.
Boy, Purdue slapped the ball right back into the hands of Troy Lewis, and he put in his first basket. And the Boilermakers have rolled out to an 18-6 advantage on the Illini. As Bardo flips down to the corner to Blackwell. Under to Coons. Has it taken right out of his hands by Scheffler.
Well, Blue has to get a timeout.
You'll see one here if they score. 13 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half. Stevens into the corner. Troy Lewis. McCants gets loose. Pulled out by Lowell Hamilton. Out to Blackwell. Back to Bardo. Foul on Phil Coons. You get the feeling, Dan, that Illinois just is not even in sync to do anything out there. Run up and down the floor is about it. Illinois wants a timeout. That's what happened a moment ago. You can see Phil Coons coming up over the back of Melvin McCants. And we've got a break in the action at Mackey Arena with Gene Katie with a fired-up bunch of Boilermakers leading 18-6. And we'll return after these local messages.
Well, there are the unhappy numbers back in Mackey Arena. Purdue's rolled up a 12-point lead with 13 minutes left in the first half. And there's a very telling statistic. Illinois with 7 turnovers in the game. The Illini have not been able to take care of it, and Purdue has converted those 7 into 9 points. They lead it by 12. That's most of the lead. Boilermakers out on a 15-1 run right now.
Well, before we go any farther, let's make note of the fact that the announcers for this telecast have been selected by Rasmussen Communications Management and approved by the University of Illinois. The Boilers will put the ball in play at the far end of the court. That's Tony Lewis out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, 6'3" sophomore. As he moves up with the ball, picked up out in front by Kendall Gill, who incidentally his mother is celebrating a birthday today, we understand. Underneath it goes. McCants back into the corner. This is Jones. Down to Stevens. Oh. Boy, I'll tell you, what a great feed inside.
Phil Coons he just lost it. McCants was wide open, and it was a great pass. A good, solid senior veteran ball club, and they're showing you what they're all about tonight.
Well, Lowell Hamilton finally got Illinois off of that 6. It's 20-8.
A 17-1 run by the Boilermakers, stopped with that jump shot.
Tony Jones flips to Troy Lewis over on the side. Now they go down to McCants. He might have a field day, Dan.
Well, Lou has to get Cuyaba back into the game. He's got to get him back in.
Bardo has it outside. 22-8 Purdue. They get it to Nick Anderson on the near side.
Nick should be able to score against Tony Jones.
Anderson driving to the baseline, and he got the job done on Tony Jones, picking up his first foul. And Nick Anderson with his second field goal and goes to the line with a chance at a three-point play.
Now, Tony gives away a lot of size to Nick Anderson in that matchup. Nick was able to put it on the floor and get around him and take him all the way to the glass. Here's another look from underneath the basket. Just a strong baseline move by Nick Anderson, who's shooting for his 5th point here.
So Nick Anderson on the year, a 64% free throw shooter, but he has improved that percentage tremendously. About a month ago, he was about a miserable 50% from the foul line. So Anderson makes the three-point play good, and it's 22-11 now, Purdue. Tony Jones, Everett Stevens. Rebound by Mitchell. Next one taken by Nick Anderson of Illinois, out to Kendall Gill. Kendall trying to drive all the way, and a foul is going to be called. It appears it's on McCants.
And Illinois goes into the bonus with 11:36 to play in the first half. That's about the first good thing that's happened so far in the half.
That's on Everett Stevens and not McCants. And there you see Lou. Well, 1-1. The 1-1 is in effect now for the Illini, and Kendall Gill going to the line to shoot it. 11:36 left in our first half.
Kenny Battle's been out of the game for a long time.
So Kendall Gill with his first point. We'd like to wish a speedy recovery to Bill Butkovich, by the way, who is resting after that severe automobile accident of a week ago Friday. At St. Mary's Hospital he is, down in Decatur. The executive director of the Varsity Eye Foundation. And Bill and his wife Cindy in that accident, but Bill is resting comfortably and hopefully will be out of that hospital before long. Good luck to you, William. Kendall Gill at the line with one.
Battle's back in the game, and Hamilton's gone out.
Oh, Illinois is back to within 9. On the side, Tony Jones. Outside it goes now to Troy Lewis. Everett Stevens, three-point try. Rebound taken away by Gill. Battle pulls up underneath. Wow, what a nice pass from Battle to Gill. And Illinois is getting themselves back into the ball game. 22-7 now with 11:11 to go in the first half. Mitchell into the corner to Everett Stevens. Outside, Troy Lewis. Foul underneath is going to be on Jens Cuyaba. Number 2 on Big Jens. Here you see the couple of changes as Reed back into the lineup, replacing Stevens. Troy Lewis will inbound it for the Illini under his own glass. He goes into the corner to McCants, back out the near side to Reed. Now back into the corner. All alone is Lewis. You can't do that.
Just a simple inbound play run by Purdue. You know, they give him a pick down there. He bounces out from inside the lane. And
what do they say? The most likely guy to be guarded is the guy that throws it inbounds.
That's right.
Out to Bardo on the near side. Trying to work and having trouble with it. Picks up the dribble, goes under to Kenny Battle, fires up in a crowd, but can't get it in there. Rebounded away by Tony Jones.
Triple team Kenny Battle was.
Troy Lewis. Purdue, the second leading field goal shooting team in the conference, only by 1/100th of a percentage point under Michigan. But they are really sensational from long range. Battle having trouble, loses it out of bounds. It's going to go back to Purdue. Blackwell is going to come back into the lineup for Illinois, replacing Bardo. And for Purdue, Steve Scheffler coming in, replacing McCants. 27-15, the Boilers, with 10-13 to go in the first half. There you see the turnovers. Just look at that, 8-1. Underneath. Shot is up and in. Foul on Kuyava. They're really working on Jens, aren't they, Dan?
Well, they're blistering the Illinois center. Just a simple two-man game right there. They jam it down to Scheffler, that left-handed turnaround shot. Jens is going to have to try to get around halfway on him, try to play the passing lane. Down low again, just a quick power move, no dribble, no nothing. Real quickly with Steve Scheffler, and got a chance for the three-point play.
Lowell Hamilton is going to come back into the lineup. Kuyava will sit down.
McCants has 9 points. Scheffler shooting for his 5th. So that's half of the Purdue points coming from inside there. And you know, it's really a guard-oriented team with Lewis and Everett Stevens out there.
Scheffler shooting 71% of his free throws in Big Ten play. Overall, he is shooting 62%. Well, he makes that three-point play, and it's now 30-15, the Boilermakers. Blackwell working it up over the line for the Illini. Gives it back to Kendall Gill. Lewis gives it off now to Hamilton. Underneath, here's Battle working against Scheffler, and he can't get it down there, and a foul is going to be on the big sophomore. Scheffler, his first, and that will send Kenny Battle to the line for Illinois with a couple of free throws. Well, look at the shoulders on Steve Scheffler. 6'9", 260 pounds, an all-state tackle at Ada High School in Michigan.
Pretty quick, too. He showed us on the baseline last time.
Battle making good on the free throw.
Very important here, Dick, for Illinois to do well at the line, to stay within striking distance of the Boilermakers, not let it get too far out of hand here so they can regroup at halftime and come back and have a chance to get in it.
Everett Stevens has replaced Bill Reed. You see there the young man out of Rock Island, Illinois, sitting down, a 6'4" freshman. And we go back to the foul line. That's Kenny Battle there with a deep breath.
Billy Reed, the son of Duncan Reed and brother of Steve, who played so well for Gene Cady here at Purdue.
30-17. We're down to less than 10 minutes to go in the half. Tony Jones on the near side to Troy Lewis. Blackwell right there with him. Tony Jones working it around, comes way outside, flips it down now to Troy Lewis. Underneath, fadeaway is up and in by Mitchell. Purdue with a fine flow of the ball on offense.
They really are. They're moving the ball tremendously on offense. Good, hard, solid screens. And they have some favorable matchups now, too. Hamilton's trying to guard Mitchell, and that's really a little bit over Lowell's head defensively, I think.
Blackwell flips it out back in front to Gill. Kendall across to Blackwell. To Kendall Gill underneath. Lowell Hamilton trying to work for the shot, travels with the ball. Scheffler will sit down, gets a great hand from the crowd here. McCants is back in there along with Mitchell, Lewis, Tony Jones, and Everett Stevens. That's Troy Lewis with the ball over on the left side. The alley-oop goes, and Stevens can't get up to get the ball. Here's Anderson. Flips it back to Battle. Kenny shooting from the outside, and that's his first field goal of the game. Makes it 32-19. 8.5 minutes to play in the half. Over the line, Everett Stevens, now to Tony Jones. Back in front, Troy Lewis doesn't go. He did a great job following up. Blackwell let his man get right around him.
How often do you see a shot from out there wind up on the floor after it hits the rim? Not very often.
Shot from the side by Everett Stevens. Purdue, we don't have the official shooting statistics, but I'll tell you, Dan, they're sensational thus far. Gill to the corner. Underneath, Kenny Battle flips it. Oh, great feed to Blackwell. He gets his shot. Fine dish off by Ken Battle. 34-21 Purdue.
It's settled down now the last minute or so into an exchange of baskets. Back and forth. We're going 15-13. And a holding foul down low, this time on Hamilton, who's trying to guard McCants. Both teams over the limit now, and Melvin McCants heads for the free throw line. He has just been uncontrollable inside.
I tell you, to say the least, Dan, McCants and Scheffler really causing the Illinois inside guys a problem. Larry Smith coming back into the lineup. There's just a moment ago that great feed underneath from Battle into the hands of Blackwell, who made it. As Melvin McCants goes to the line for Purdue. Here comes Bill Reed back into the lineup, replacing Tony Jones. Well, the seniors on this Gene Cady basketball team, Stevens, Lewis, and Mitchell, in their absence will be felt next year. Here's the ball, rims out by McCants. Larry Smith way down to Battle. Gets loose for the shot, but he doesn't get it. McCants rebounds it away, slapped out of his hands, and Battle gets it back, and a foul on McCants.
Well, give Kenny Battle credit. He stayed with it when he could have given up on himself there. I don't know how he missed that shot, but he did come back and slap the ball away, and finally ended up being fouled. Here's the play. Slapped it away, and the foul right there from behind.
They say it's on Bill Reed, and not McCants, his second foul.
I thought McCants had done it myself from the rear there, but I guess they called Reed for the reach in. Anyway, Battle gets 1 and 1. That's a big break for Illinois.
Battle missing the free throw. The ball out of bounds, deflected away by Todd Mitchell. It'll go back to Illinois. There's going to be a break in the action at Mackey Arena here in West Lafayette, Indiana. With 7:26 to go in the half, the Boilers lead it 34-21, and we'll return after this on the Illini Sports Network. Left, and the score 34-21, the Boilermakers. And the Purdue Boilermakers shooting at a healthy 60%. Illinois at 46%. Actually, in Big Ten play, that's just a little bit under their 49% average. Where on the other hand, the Boilers in Big Ten play have shot 54% from the field, just a little bit under that 60.
Well, it's no wonder they have a high percentage. They've gotten 4 baskets from Melvin McCants and 2 other ones down low from Steve Scheffler. So there's 6 right there. But outside, Stevens and Lewis and Mitchell have done the job as well. It's been a team effort, and Purdue, after a slow start, has started to play very well here about the last 10 or 12 minutes.
Interesting enough, Dan, Purdue in the last 3 years, or last 2 years, they've had the 3rd best record of any Division I basketball team. 3rd to Nevada, Las Vegas, and Temple. Kendall Gill on the inbounds play goes up for the jumper from the side, and he is clobbered from behind. And the foul is going to be charged on, it was either
Everett
Stevens or Troy Lewis, and it's going to be Everett Stevens. That's his second.
Well, the Boilermakers have picked up a few personal fouls here. 2 on Stevens, 3 on Kip Jones, and 2 on Bill Reed so far.
Kendall Gill at the line for Illinois with 2.
Kendall Gill is shooting 2.
There you see the young sophomore out of Madison, Illinois. 34-23 Purdue. Everett Stevens, the senior from Evanston, gives it back to Tony Jones. Off to Troy Lewis, weaving it around out of the perimeter. All 3 of those young men can really shoot, and so can this guy. Mitchell with his 4th field goal. 36-23 now, the Boilers. We're ticking down to 7 minutes to go in the half. Larry Smith at the point. Goes left side, Anderson.
Purdue switched to his own now. But test Illinois' outside game.
Larry Smith, oh, Battle. The alley-oop. Good pass from Larry Smith.
I don't know, I think the pass was a little low. Battle made an unbelievable play to catch that thing and dunk it in the same motion.
But at least he got the ball to him.
And he did, he spotted him.
That spotted him, and that we have been lacking. Sometimes your pivot man quits running at the ball if he never gets it. Here's the ball up and batted away, and a foul is going to be called. Oh, no, jump ball.
What?
I don't believe it.
That's the worst call I've seen all year. All Todd Mitchell did was virtually wrestle Nick Anderson to the floor, and they call it jump ball. Hey, things are going badly enough without that kind of stuff. Great play by Battle on McCants. That's a foul in any game.
Todd Mitchell outside to Stevens. The alley-oop, it's batted around, pulled out of there by Lowell Hamilton. Gets it back to Larry Smith. Smith coming charging down the floor. To Battle.
Almost a turnover there with a travel. Illinois, though, with a chance to cut it under 10. Purdue back into the man-to-man now.
Gill.
Kick it out.
To Lowell Hamilton. To Smith outside.
Shot clock down to 20.
Lowell Hamilton fires it up. No. Rebounded. Foul on Mitchell.
Now see if that call on the other end of the floor goes the way it should have. That's 3 fouls on Mitchell, and he may have to do some bench time. As it is, that's only 2, and we get 1 and 1 on the crashing foul on Todd Mitchell. There it is right there.
Kenny Battle goes to the line. This will be his 6th appearance there tonight. (36-26) Purdue. 8 points thus far for Battle.
And it's under 10.
Well, the Illini are back to within, as Dan said, under 10. 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the half. Tony Jones working it across. Down on the side, this is Troy Lewis. Back, almost a steal by Smith. Retrieved by Everett Stevens. Flips down to Troy Lewis.
They want McCants inside. Hamilton got around on him that time. So they're really looking to pound it down low.
Troy Lewis.
Boy, what a tough shot. That time with the defense all over him, he just stuck it in somebody's face.
39-27. It's Larry Smith to the top. Lobs it right side. Anderson out to Smith. Gill to Battle. Boy, they missed Hamilton down inside. Smith trying to drive. Oh, he makes a fine feed off to Hamilton.
He really did, and that's what you have to do to beat that 2-man front. The one guard out there has to penetrate some. He did, and Hamilton was wide open.
Well, Larry Smith has looked the best thus far at that position tonight for Illinois.
He's done well offensively. Now he's got to guard Troy Lewis.
Mitchell's shot is blocked by Hamilton. Batted back to Troy Lewis into the corner. Boy. Batted around. Finally tapped into the corner. Troy Lewis.
Look out. Oh.
Here's Nick Anderson muscling the ball away for Illinois. Larry Smith. Shot. Anderson. Lowell Hamilton from the side.
Hamilton's giving him a lift, and it's an 8-point game. Look out. Illinois has really done a great job of keeping its composure.
Tony Jones on the side for Purdue.
Now Anderson and McCants going at it, and it wasn't Anderson, it was Battle, but they call a foul on Kenny Battle.
Well, they're really trying to front on Melvin McCants, and Battle picking up his 2nd foul of the game. You know, he's giving away a good 5 inches there playing against McCants.
Well, it's not his size so much height-wise, Dick, I think, as the bulk down inside. I mean, the tone has been set. The referees are allowing McCants to go set up down low, work his way down with the body, and get the pass inside. There's not much that Illinois players can do about that.
You notice right now that Scheffler comes back into the lineup now for Purdue, so that gives them both Scheffler and McCants down underneath, and Kenny Battle's going to sit down and put Phil Coons back in to kind of match up somewhat. McCants at the line with a 1-and-1. Rebounded away by Gill.
A chance to cut it to 6.
Larry Smith. 3 minutes, 45 seconds to go in the half. Gill back to Smith.
Coons trying to return the favor to Scheffler inside now. A lot of banging going on down there.
Here's Anderson on the side to Smith. Boy, underneath, and Anderson going for the jump shot in close, and a foul is going to be whistled on the Boilermakers. And it's going to be charged to Scheffler.
They call it on Tony Jones? I didn't even see Tony Jones.
Tony Jones picking up the foul.
Take your pick here. The bounce pass along the baseline from Larry Smith inside.
There he is.
Yep, there's your reach in right there.
Well, Nick down and in and out of there. He'll get one more try.
10th in the Big Ten in scoring, a strong candidate for newcomer of the year in the league this year. Had a good season.
Anderson making that one. That narrows it to a 7-point advantage for the Boilermakers with 3 minutes and 29 seconds to go here in the first half at Mackey Arena. And we'll return after these local messages.
Well, at halftime, we'll talk with Yoshi Hayasaki, the Illini men's gymnastics coach. Another great team for Yoshi this year, Dick, and a big showdown with the Iowa Hawkeyes coming up this week.
And I'll tell you, that gymnastics team, if you want to look at ratings, everyone gets all wrapped up in ratings at this time of the year with the basketball season going on, but they're ranked #1 in the country. And that match against Iowa tomorrow night at Kinney Gym on the campus here at the University of Illinois ought to be a good one.
Illini holding their own on the boards and, in fact, have an edge over Purdue.
That's an amazing stat right there, Dan.
Well, they've done well offensively rebounding. Bardo's gotten a couple.
They're picking them up all over the court right now. Tony Jones inbounds the ball to Scheffler, gets it right back. 39-32 Boilers. 3:23 to go in the first half. McCants way out on the wing on the right side. Everett Stevens down to the corner to Tony Jones. Purdue really good patience on offense. Well, they had a big one here against Indiana last Sunday, which they won. They've won 5 in a row coming into this one. Out.
Good action on the baseline. Illinois playing pretty good man-to-man defense down low.
Scheffler, Tony Jones. Rebound, Nick Anderson. Up to Gill, and now to Larry Smith.
Big trip here for the Illini.
Illinois has outscored Purdue 11-5 in the last 4 minutes, and there is another costly turnover by the Illini. Larry Smith dragging that pivot foot.
Just a totally unforced error, too. Passing lane was open. I don't know what happened.
2:34 to play in the half. 39-32 Purdue. Everett Stevens pushing it up for the Boilers. And Smith ran on him into the corner to Lewis. Back in front, Tony Jones. Smith playing him loose. There's Lewis. Well, McCants gets a rebound with no one around him. Batted around, and boy, Smith rebounds it out of there for Illinois. Under to Lowell Hamilton.
Good fake.
McCants
on the shot.
Rebounds it for the Boilers. They had the shot, couldn't get it in there with less than 2 minutes to go. You see down there in the corner of your screen, 39-32 Purdue. As Everett Stevens just standing way out into the front court and playing him loose. There's Nick Anderson. On the side, Troy Lewis to Scheffler. Here's Everett Stevens. Foul is going to be called. It's on Lowell Hamilton. It happened all the way back up the court.
Late whistle. It sure looked like Everett was on his way in to shoot it. Get a chance to look at that one again. Here's the shot. The pump really hammered him on the shot. Now, why would you get 2 shots for that? Very strange calls in the first half. Some kind of a strange game anyway. Both teams started terribly. Illinois took longer to catch up than Purdue did, but
he's going to get a 1-and-1, Dan.
Well, that's wrong. With Everett, though, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference.
And Purdue went 3 minutes without scoring a point. And Stevens breaks the crust that time for the Boilermakers. For Purdue, going to have a change, but they're going to have to wait because Everett Stevens is going to be replaced after he shoots his free throw.
Good move by Gene Cady. Get him out of there so he doesn't have a chance to pick up his 3rd foul. Whoop, missed it.
Ball rims out of there, retrieved into the corner by the Illini. Larry Smith has it. Smith into the corner. This is Kendall Gill breaking across the lane. Comes right back to the weak side to Smith.
This would be a huge basket for the Illini.
Lowell Hamilton out to Kendall Gill. Good move down through the baseline. Doesn't go. Rebound taken away by McCants. Into the corner. Jumper by Stevens.
Well, that exchange right there, Dick, just about typifies what's going on here in the first half. Illinois with a chance to cut it down to 6. They missed the shot, a pretty good shot as it turned out to be, and then Stevens buries a three-point shot to get it back to 11.
Lowell Hamilton drives, can't go, rebound pulled out of there by Mitchell.
Shot clock is off now. Purdue can hold for 1 and probably will.
Gene Cady is standing up, motioning for 1 shot only. The Boilers with a comfortable 11-point advantage on Illinois here as we wind down things in the first half.
Well, the Illini were making them sweat, too. They cut that lead down to 7 and have the ball. All of a sudden, the Boilermakers get it back to 11 and now have a chance to get to 13 or 14 with a three-point shot. Now inside 10.
Everett Stevens loses it, picked up by McCants, and he puts it in. And Purdue takes a 13-point lead into halftime, 45-32 on the Fighting Illini. And that's the end of the half, and we'll return after this on the Illini Sports Network.
We hurt them in the first half here tonight.
Well, we're going to be back with more at halftime after these local messages. Lewis followed with 10 and Stevens with 9. Those 11 points of McCants, of course, put some fouls on Jens Kuyava, 3 to be exact. And there you see the foul trouble. And on the other side, Kip Jones with 3 fouls. So the Boilermakers huddled around there. We'll start off the second half with Mitchell and McCants and Troy Lewis, you see there. Kip Jones will also start along with Everett Stevens. And the Illini are going to counter with Larry Smith, who finished that first half, played pretty well. He'll be in the backcourt with Kendall Gill, Lowell Hamilton, Bardo, and Kenny Battle.
Dick, the first few minutes of a half are always very important to what happens in a game. For Illinois, they're crucial right here. They cannot afford to get down any further than they are right now.
Well, you see what's happened. They have a 12-1 record at Mackey Arena this season. Incidentally, Illinois' last win here came at the tail end of the 1986 season, so the Illini have lost 3 in a row. Smith gets it off to Gill. Back out in front to Smith. This is Bardo.
Straight up, the Boilermakers playing man-to-man. Nick Anderson not in the game for Illinois, which takes away a lot of the offensive punch. They're trying to post up battle with McCants, but that's a tough match for Kenny.
Hamilton gets it back out in front to Smith. The shot clock at 15. To Bardo. 10 seconds to go. Underneath to Kenny Battle. The shot is up, and a foul is going to be called on Battle.
Boy, that's a big call, too. A real big call against Illinois. Battle leaned in, made the basket. They wave it off, and we go the other way. Lou may buy a technical here. Here's the fake by Battle. What that is, basically, is a pretty good acting job by McCants. Really, it's a no call. One of the things that generally you're not going to see a whistle blown on. But it really hurt the Illini.
It comes into McCants. Back to Everett Stevens. 45-32. We've just got the second half underway at Mackey Arena in West Lafayette, Indiana, as it comes outside to Lewis. Stevens in the corner. Underneath McCants.
Hamilton way out of position. McCants just sticking that rear end out and opening up some space for himself. The passing lane is wide open.
That's 3 on Hamilton. There you see Gene Cady. Boy, he's about as intense as you get him during a ball game.
It doesn't matter if it's a 1-point game or a 21-point game. He coaches the same way.
That's exactly right. Kuyava enters the lineup, replacing Battle for Illinois.
Look at the players Illinois has on the floor now. Who do you go to? Kendall Gill's been very tentative. Larry Smith won't even take a shot. Steve Bardo has trouble from the field, and you have Hamilton and Kuyava as the other 2 players.
McCants.
Well, Melvin had his trouble, missed 4 in a row, but knocked those 2 down, and it's a 15-point lead. This equals Purdue's biggest of the day.
Pressure on. Kuyava back to Bardo. To Gill. Kendall going for the shot. The basket will count, and a foul is going to be charged underneath on Melvin McCants.
Sam Licklider got that one right. Melvin was sliding up underneath Gill as he took off.
That makes it 47-34, and Melbourne not too happy with that call.
Beat the press nicely. You saw Gill kind of slide off to his right there, and McCants just moved ever so slightly up underneath him.
So Kendall, 5 for 5 at the line. 47-35. That's Everett Stevens moving it over to the right side to Kip Jones. Boy, no one touched him. Got to play better defense than that. And Lou Henson is smiling across the way. I don't know whether I'd smile or not, Lou.
Well, Kip is not a big offensive threat, but if you let him put it on the floor and move to within 5 feet, he's going to score.
No question about it. Outside Smith. Out to Hamilton. Underneath to Big Jens Kuyaba. Charge is called on Kuyaba.
Put his shoulder down and went to the basket. Gene Cady real happy the way that defense was played. And turnover again for the Fighting Illini.
Lewis gets it into Kip Jones. Now back to Lewis. Everett Stevens between the rings to the right side. 49-35, the Boilermakers. Todd Mitchell. Batted around. Kuyaba. Long lead pass down to Kendall Gill. And Kendall Gill has got all 5 Illinois points to start out this second half. 11 of the game. 49-37. Jones, Mitchell.
Bardo tried to step in and get that pass. He was half a step late, and Mitchell was wide open.
Doing a little trapping out in front as Lowell Hamilton gets it underneath to Bardo, and a foul is going to be called on Kip Jones. That's 4 on him. Out of Decatur, Indiana, the 6'8" junior will sit down and take a rest, and the big sophomore Steve Scheffler coming in, replacing him. For Illinois, Bardo sits down, and Nick Anderson has come on for the Illini. Out in front, Lowell Hamilton.
No, that's a bad call by Rucker. His left foot was planted. He stuttered with the right, but he had a pivot foot. That was not a travel. But yet, it goes against Illinois anyway, and it's another turnover. That's 4 already in the second half. And Purdue can up that lead to 16 with a basket here.
Everett Stevens over the line. Look at the turnovers. Illinois 14, Purdue only 5. Outside is Mitchell.
Mitchell got away with one. Kuyaba got a block.
But McCants gets it right back and puts it in.
McCants really stays with it, doesn't he?
Well, Big Jens is playing with 4. He can't take too much of a chance. Anderson pulling up, back in front to Smith.
15 points now for Melvin McCants.
Back into the corner to Smith. Larry comes outside, back to Gill. Anderson flips it back to Gill, and now to Smith. Lowell Hamilton, turnaround shot is good.
Tough shot by Hamilton.
53-39. Stevens. Foul called on Smith. Personal foul number 4 on the Illini in this half. And Phil Coons checking into the lineup, replacing Jens Kuyaba. There you see the young sophomore from Carlisle. Kuyaba sitting down. Bardo is coming back into the ballgame also for Illinois, but he'll have to wait to the next break in the action. Everett Stevens working it around. Troy Lewis.
Oh, McCants just cleared out.
Boy, McCants shoved Phil Coons to the floor and easily got the rebound and put it back up.
That's awful. I mean, that was pretty blatant, I'd say. Forearm in the back.
And Kendall Gill throws up a silencer. 13 in the game for Kendall. Troy Lewis. Efforts. Oh, he passed it off to Troy Lewis. 12 for Lewis. 57-41, the Boilers. 15:50 to go. Larry Smith walking it up slowly. The number 2 ranked team in the country, the Boilermakers of Purdue, closely behind Temple in the rankings. Lowell Hamilton from outside. Doesn't get it in there. Rebound back into the hands of Troy Lewis. Off to Stevens. to Lewis and now to Mitchell. Under to Scheffler. Foul on Coons, I believe. It's hard to say. They pointed once to Hamilton and once to Coons. Let's see who it's going to be on. It's on Phil Coons. It's his second. There you can see it right here.
Boy, Purdue's post-up play has been outstanding. Right down there low. You see the bump of the body and the hand as well. Good call down low, and Scheffler heads for the free throw line. Illinois has shown not much ability to handle Purdue inside tonight.
Tony Jones has come in, and Melvin McCants will sit down. Here you see the big guy, Steve Scheffler. He has 5 points in the ball game thus far. The Boilermakers, incidentally, in that first half only made 3 of 8 from the line. 4 of 7 three-point shots they made. That one good by Scheffler. And we have a timeout at Purdue with exactly 15:25 left in the game. And the Boilermakers 58, the Fighting Illini 41. We're going to return with more on the Illini Sports Network. 15:25 left in the ball game, and the Boilers leading by 17 points, and the field goal percentages thus far. Boy, in the first half, Illinois 45, right here at 80%, and Purdue still shooting a little better. Nick Anderson, who has come on, misses that easy shot from inside. Scheffler rebounds it out on the side. Everett Stevens bounce pass down on the baseline to Tony Jones, to Stevens in front, back to Jones from the side. Rebound is up in the air, and a foul is going to be called on Scheffler. For the Boilermakers, that's the third team foul on this half.
There's a second look. Tony Jones from the baseline missed it. Scheffler right over the back. It's been a strangely officiated game, Dick. A lot of heavy stuff not called down low, and then some touch fouls over the back.
We got Battle and Anderson both back in the ball game now for the Illini. We were just talking while we were way down. I don't know how you can keep either one of them on the bench when you're trailing by 17.
The first few minutes of the second half are so key to this game, too. You almost have to have that kind of offensive punch on the score to make some kind of a move.
Here's Battle. Out to Bardo. Nick Anderson.
Tough shot by Nick. First basket of the second half for him.
Todd Mitchell. It's going to be called. Kendall Gill will get the foul. Well, Mitchell just literally tore down the floor. They hit him with a lead pass, and he had the easy shot.
No, he's a great athlete. Here's Stevens with the long one up to him. Todd Mitchell can run the floor. He's ahead of everybody, and Gill slapped him on the hand as he ran by.
You might wonder, Purdue is a free throw shooting team. They have shot 71% of Big Ten play as a team, 67 for all games played in their 24 outings, as Mitchell makes both of those. That makes it 60-43, the Boilermakers. This is Bardo. Back to Gill. And now to Bardo. Almost threw that one away as Gill saves it. To Kenny Battle. Back to Nick Anderson.
Nick
60-45. Everett Stevens. Three-point try. Battle. Rebounds for Illinois. Back in front to Bardo. Need a score right here. Nick Anderson pulls up for the jumper and puts it home.
Nick's starting to warm up, Dick, and anytime the Illini score 2 in a row, the crowd gets nervous. It's down to 13 where it started in the second half, and Boilermaker crowd wants a hoop.
Scheffler.
Good defense by Coons that time, and Illinois comes out with it.
Kendall Gill slows it down, gives it back to Battle, and Gene Cady comes flying off of the bench over there as if they just lost the world. Bardo having a problem. He's going to have to get rid of it. Ooh.
Picked it up way too far outside and got himself in some trouble.
No question about it. Bardo going up against Stevens. Flips off Kendall Gill out to Phil Coons. Bounces it under to Battle. Bardo from the side. All of a sudden, Illinois down by 11.
6 in a row.
The clock shows 12 minutes, 42 seconds to go. Stevens bouncing it to Tony Jones to Troy Lewis. Lewis driving through the lane. Goes down to the far corner. Bounces underneath. No one is there. It goes, oh, they say it was touched away by Illinois. It's going to be out of bounds. Boilermakers underneath their own basket. For Purdue, Melvin McCants will enter the lineup. He's going to replace Troy Lewis. One thing about Gene Cady, doesn't care who he sends him in for, Dan, because he's been doing a lot of changing around with the big men down underneath.
Well, he has a chance with a pretty good lead to see some people and how they play with one another. This will be the first appearance for this guy tonight. John Brugos, 6'9" sophomore out of Crown Point, Indiana. Doesn't play much, Dick.
Averaging a little about almost 2 points a game, and both Big Ten play in all games. Out of bounds, the ball goes to the Boilermakers. They lob it in for the alley-oop, and it's taken away. Todd Mitchell gets it in. (62-49) as Bardo works in front for the Illini. Nick Anderson to Kendall Gill. Doesn't get it in there. Picked up by Battle, and he is hammered down. Oh, a foul on Battle. I don't believe it.
Oh, come on. Well, they're not getting many breaks in any respect, but that's one of those calls that
you take a look at it for yourself.
We get another look at it right here. That's 4 fouls on Battle. Gill had an opening and missed the shot. Purdue had the rebound. Battle was fortunate to come up with it right there. That's just a bad call. Another bad call by this crew.
Tony Jones gives it outside to McCants. Jones going up against Gill underneath Brugos. Well, they went for the steal, and Brugos got the easy one. 64-49. Well, the fans love to see someone come off of the bench and play very much and score. With Bardo driving all the way underneath, going for the shot, is hammered down also by Purdue that time. And he'll go to the line with 2 shots for the Illini.
Gill and Battle check out. Lowell Hamilton and Glenn Blackwell, whom we haven't seen much of tonight, check back in. Here's the drive by Bardo. Took the baseline. Up strong. Foul from behind.
Bardo at the line. 1 for 2 there tonight. There you see Troy Lewis. Boy, what an outstanding basketball player he is. And Bardo makes the free throw good.
Illini free throw shooting again has been very good in this game. They were 12 of 16 in the first half. 2 of 2 so far, with Bardo to shoot 1 more.
Well, he hits it high off of the back of the rim and comes down through. And we've got a timeout at Mackey Arena as Gene Cady will greet his Boilermakers with 11:33 to go in the second half of the ball game. Purdue leading 64-51, and we'll return after these local messages. Welcome back to West Lafayette, Indiana. The telecast of tonight's game is authorized by the Athletic Association of the University of Illinois and is intended solely for the private use of our viewing audience. And any rebroadcast, reproduction, and other use in the accounts and the descriptions of this game without the express written consent of the Athletic Association of the University of Illinois is strictly prohibited. They got the wave going in Mackey Arena. Usually see that in a football season, but it's going around the arena here in West Lafayette right now. Their Boilers leading by 13. Reed having problems in the backcourt for the Purdue. Gets it up to Troy Lewis. Comes back outside now to Bill Reed. Ooh, bounces it off of the leg of Glenn Blackwell out of bounds. I almost thought that Reed almost double dribbled with the basketball. Kind of cushioned it off of his leg there for a moment. Troy Lewis over to toss in. Gets it into John Brugos. Now back to Lewis. That clock shows 11 minutes and 10 seconds to play. Mitchell off now to Reed. Down to Troy Lewis. They've got it down inside. McCants turnaround blocked by Coons, and he saves it before it goes out of bounds. Gets it to Hamilton, up to Bardo. Good effort by Phil Coons.
He stood his ground that time and didn't buy McCants' fake.
Boy, there's Purdue working down inside, but he can't buy a bucket. McCants clears off the boards. Up to Bill Reed. Almost a steal by Blackwell. It's batted away out of bounds. It's going to go back to Purdue at midcourt. Kip Jones enters the lineup replacing Brugus. Also Everett Stevens back in replacing Bill Reed. Katie really making a lot of changes in this basketball game.
He is, and Brugus got his name in the book. He played pretty well while he was in there.
He's all right. He's across the way trying to find a place to sit down, Dan. This is Everett Stevens with it. Back now to Kip Jones. Off to Troy Lewis. Down to Everett Stevens. To Troy Lewis in front. Everett Stevens lobs under to McCants. Phil Coons was trying to position himself for the rebound, thought it was going to be a shot, and instead they dumped it inside, and McCants got the easy layup.
Some pretty good senior leadership right there from one of your great point guards in this league. Everett Stevens made a great play.
Nick Anderson down to Hamilton, way out in front to Bardo. Off to Blackwell. Nick Anderson to Hamilton. To Anderson to Bardo.
Purdue back in the zone now, and Illinois is going to try to crack that. Here they go inside to Coons.
Rebound McCants.
McCants has played a great game on both ends. He's done a good job on the board. Just not easy to rebound out of a zone like that, and he was all by himself.
Watch this one. Mitchell.
Look out now.
Todd Mitchell makes it 68-51 Purdue with 9 minutes and 15 and ticking there. You see the little clock on the corner of your screen as Anderson flips back in front of Bardo. Blackwell to Bardo to Blackwell. Anderson from the side. Why don't you do that more often?
You got to get the ball in his hands. He's the scorer on the floor right now.
No question about it. 68-53. Here's a shove off underneath. It was away from the play. I believe it was on Nick Anderson.
Yep. Nick and Todd Mitchell.
Boy, he gave him an elbow and ended up out of bounds. Second foul on Anderson. I don't think Nick was any too happy with that call. That for the Illini. Of course, the foul put the Boilermakers in the 1-and-1. And Todd Mitchell will go to the line. 2 for 2 there tonight. 16 points in the game. Mitchell's best performance of the year was 30 points scored in the first ball game with Michigan State.
Very consistent player for Gene Katie.
Jens Kuyava, he'll come back into the lineup there. You see Jens replacing Phil Coons. Kuyava playing with 4 fouls, still looking for his first point of the ball game.
Crowd doesn't appreciate Lou Henson's gamesmanship. He sends the sub in just as Mitchell's about to shoot that second free throw. Didn't bother him much, did it?
Not one bit. 70-53. 17-point lead for the Boilermakers. Bardo to Anderson, down in the corner to Gill. To Blackwell, back outside. Here is Bardo. Look out. The ball slapped away by Everett Stevens. Illinois careless with the basketball, and Lou Henson, you see it disturbed about that. Lou trying to win his 500th game, but it seems to be a little bit out of reach right here. Blackwell whirling around underneath Kuyava to Blackwell to Bardo. Foul is going to be called. It's going to be on Todd Mitchell. That's the second on Mitchell, the 5th team foul on Purdue here in this half. Kendall Gill enters the lineup replacing Bardo. The ball goes out of bounds to Illinois under their own basket. That's Glenn Blackwell tossing it in. Into the corner to Anderson. Lobs in front, Gill. The alley-oop. Can't get it in there. That's Hamilton missing it. Rebound comes out in front. Todd Mitchell has it. Jones steal by Gill. To Nick Anderson. Well, they kept it alive long enough for Nick Anderson to get the follow-up. 15-point game, Purdue leading it, 70-55. Kip Jones, the alley-oop, batted away, and a good save by Nick Anderson. Up court it comes to Blackwell.
Go ahead and shoot that three, Glenn.
Blackwell gets the two-pointer. That's only the 6th point in the game for Blackwell. All of a sudden, Illinois back to within 13, 70-57.
Dick, that's not a real good shot. If you're going to go ahead and shoot a wide open shot like that on the run, you might as well shoot it from behind that line. I mean, what's another foot or so?
Everett Stevens gives it off. Troy Lewis all by himself. Kendall Gill couldn't get out there quick enough. And Lewis, who has scored in double figures in all games this season, has notched his 14th point here tonight. Blackwell to Kendall Gill. 3-point try. And Kendall Gill, who's having a good night. That's 16 points in the game for Gill. We're down to 6:45 and ticking. Lewis just working it around in front. Back down to the corner to Mitchell. Outside to Stevens. To Troy Lewis in the corner underneath McCants.
That's a foul on McCants. McCants with the off arm just shoved Kuyaba back out of the way and cleared out some space for himself.
That is a foul.